All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 live stream. First time streaming it. Well, technically the second time, but first time that we're actually going to do a flight in the new sim. So I will wait for folks to pop in, say hello. We got time. We have time and technology on our side. So I will we'll see who pops in. Who's the first one in the who will be the first victim? Who will be the first to say hello for the new sim? So let's see who's here first. We'll do some shout outs and then we'll start. We'll get in the air. It says about 2 hours and 14 minutes. Now, it may be around about that time. It may be a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. Who knows? We'll see. So, all right. Say hello. I don't know what it's going to sound like once we get in here. I'm sorry about coughing. Um, so we'll see how that goes. So I may have to adjust the sound once we spawn in. This sim is a bit tricky. Uh, you'll probably see it more once we get going. The flight dynamic is much different. The what do you call it? The if you're in a small plane, you definitely notice the turbulence more, for sure. Um, so we'll see how we get on with that. Um, but the DC-3, it shouldn't be too bad. I flew in the. I was able to download the YMF-5 earlier this week, and I did a flight with it last night in Spain, and it was a challenge. So anyway, all right. Well, I had one viewer, and I guess they gave up. They're like, "Oh no, I'm not interested in this." So I'll just go ahead and keep going. Keep talking to myself, I guess. So one of the things that they do have now, interestingly enough, this runway that we're going to take off from isn't in use, I don't think, in the real world, but we're going to take off, I think, from runway 27. And they got this pattern kind of thing where we're going to follow it. We're going to hang a left turn, make another left, and then we're going to kind of get on the path. And then we're going to fly all the way through here. Hopefully it'll be some interesting scenery along the way. I know it doesn't look like that exciting. And then we're going to come right over the pyramids. I was able to find those, so we'll hopefully be able to see the pyramids as we fly over, and then we'll turn towards Cairo International. Now it has this very particular way of pattern entry, right? You come here and you go and you kind of make this turn for your downwind leg. So this would be downwind left, and then base, and then final. Hello, good morning, Bex. Hey, Bex is the first one here. Yay. Bex, you win a gold star. There you go. So it's a very weird way of entering a pattern. It's not very intuitive because I'll show you. You'll see it. It's kind of like the landing patterns in 2020. It's almost gone, Bex. We had it. It rained yesterday afternoon. So a lot of it's gone. Some of it's still there, but it's mainly like in the yard. But the roads are fairly clear. But overnight, because the temperature dropped again a little bit, it's might be a little bit icy. But yeah, it wasn't a whole heck of a lot. It was only like a couple of inches, if that. And we're not at a high enough altitude for it to stick around for very long. So it's not like up in New York, you know. Well, even in where I lived in New York, it wasn't that bad. Um, so anyway, I'll show you guys that. There's a way to show. No, I don't. No, exactly. Although I found out, my dad told me the other day that if the roads are considered to be not undrivable, if you go and drive and you get in an accident, your insurance will not pay for the damages. So if you go out there and you know the roads are kind of sketchy, and you do it, and you either you hit another car or you just cause damage to your own vehicle because you slide off the road, your insurance won't cover it at all. So no, I don't want to do. I don't want to break any bones either. That's for sure. Yeah, I definitely don't want to have a repeat of that. It's funny you say that because I think it's next week. It'll be 2 years since I broke my arm. So yeah, I don't want a repeat of that. So anyway, what was I saying? So it's a very particular. The way this sim is far different than 2020. The turbulence is more prevalent, especially in the smaller planes. It can be a challenge, especially if you're hand flying. I went over these mountains in Spain yesterday, and I am surprised I made it in the Waco. It was not easy, and I was surprised that I got a pretty decent landing rate for it. But it's a much different sim. But thankfully, hey Infidel, how are you? Good to see you. Scruffy earlier this week, and this week it's been a doozy. Let me tell you. He I got into the sim, and he kind of went over things with me for my Alpha and Bravo, and it turns out that everything was pretty much set up. It was very weird. So what I'm going to try to do, try being the key word, from now on, I'm going to try to fly in this sim. Just so that I get used to how it is, start getting the muscle memory. I found out through Scruff that my rudder pedals, when I was flying in 2020, were not set correctly. So now I've got them set correctly, but now it's like unlearning those bad habits of not using my rudder pedals properly. You know, when I use them to turn, you know, like I'm steering with my rudder pedals on the runway and all that, or the taxiway. So, so thanks to Scruff for helping me out with that. I'll give him a shout out. I know he's trying to get back to streaming. He's hoping to have a regular schedule again soon. So yeah, so we're gonna be doing this one for the time for the near future. I don't have the multiplayer on. I've heard mixed things about multiplayer. Some people say it works, some people say it doesn't. I don't know. I don't want to find out the hard way that it's not working. You know, so right now the multiplayer is off. So even if you type server, whatever server comes up, it probably will not be the correct server. um, what else? I think that's about it. So, all right, let me get in here and we'll get the aircraft started up. So this is the way it does it now when you come in. Boom, right there. Okay. Now, I found out. Oh, I gotta turn on my. I gotta do that. And see, it's not. Okay, there it goes. It takes a minute sometimes. Okay, so check this out. I'm gonna spawn in. I'm outside the aircraft. Okay. It spawns you in like at the front. Now, for the DC-3, right now it doesn't have any covers or anything to take off of the aircraft. Like, you know, no pitot heat covers, no chocks or whatever. You can kind of like look at the. It says you can click on the wheels. I don't know what you can do with that. It doesn't really like inspect it or anything like that. But we'll walk around the plane. Now, some of the aircraft are it's a real challenge to find a way to get into the plane. So you can't. You're supposed to be able to move these. You can't. You can click on it, but it won't move anything. So it highlights it, but it doesn't. Now you'll see that's the path out. It looks like. I think. Well, we'll know more about that when we get ready to go here. So you walk around and you're supposed to like inspect stuff, get your pitot heat covers, all that kind of stuff. Now, watch this. I'm gonna go all the way back up here to the front. So we basically did our walk around. The plane looks, it's a hot mess, but we'll take it anyway. So I have to find this little clickable spot here. I have to open that, and then bang, here I am inside the flight deck. So I'm going to get everything kind of set up here. It doesn't give you the hover over like it did in 2020. It's very strange. All right, we're going to put that. Now that should put chocks down. Yep, okay. Put the ground power on. Oh, I gotta make sure. See, this is the one thing that I. Oh, all right. So we'll let the Garmin warm up. All right, let's go ahead and get one of these things started up. Now let's see how much. It says we got 50% fuel. All right, so it's going to do its thing. I want to add. Now, there's a tricky way to add fuel. I'm going to add a little bit more. So I had to go here, go to flight performance, mass and balance. Okay, fuel. All right, so there's that. Okay, so it has, this is our, kind of like our nav map. So you'll see that pattern out. So we're gonna go to runway 27 here once I get the plane started up. I'll go ahead and get out of this. And then I got to make sure my keyboard is set for 2020. It's very all right. There we go. Okay. So while it's doing that, oh, let's get the batteries on and all that. Okay, now I gotta get that on. We'll go about 8,000 feet. Okay, oh, that's 5, not 8. There we go. Now I gotta double check. Let's see, because it sometimes will change it. Okay, so now I should be on the. There we go. Got my altimeter set. That to trail. All right, now let's talk to. All right, so now I should have, yeah, okay, it's that away. 27. Okay, let's see here. We can put that to that. We can turn that off. Now let's make sure all of our left, right. Okay. Let's get our lights on. And then I got the tricky part is I got to find the it's down here. Oops. All right. Oop. See, it's like you got to really. All right. So yeah, not a very far taxi. Runway's right here. So we should see, once I line up on the runway, we should see kind of a. So we're in Libya right now. We're fixing to head to Egypt, to Cairo. I think this is more like a taxiway now. I don't think this is an actual runway, but it in the sim it still shows it as a runway. Okay. You lock the tail wheel. Okay. I think everything else is all set. Altimeter's set. Alright, let's go. Of course, the ads are going to start. Well, at least we'll get in the air. Why does it seem like... See, now it's... Oh, oh. I'm dancing. Okay, there's our... So we're going to follow this pattern-like thing. Okay, the gear's coming up. See, it's got a very sharp turn there. We're going to miss that turn completely. So we're way off. Well, by that standard, we're way off course. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and nav, vertical speed. We're just going to go ahead and get to... Oops. All right, 600 feet per minute should be fine. All right, so now what I found out was I can turn off those. So now it's just gonna get me back onto the path. It should being the key word. It might take me back around and then line me up on the... That looks like what it's doing, I think. Okay, it should be turning. Okay. We're finally on our way. All right. I think we're all set. It's taken me a while to get used to this sim because I don't have Flow Pro here. It's coming, but it's going to be a while before it uh, comes into the new sim. Um, so I don't have like um, the liveries yet. All that's supposed to be coming. I have to use the toolbar. Not a big fan of it. It automatically puts you back into the cockpit. All right, let's see here. We need to probably. All right. So everything's pretty much the same. I can't say that this looks better than it did in 2020. Not gonna lie. The scenery outside probably is better, but that may be a matter of opinion. I don't know. I mean, I'm not flown in this area enough to say that it looks better than it did previously. So, um, it feels better. Not that just it seems like it's much better, but I'm not a pixel counter. I don't have like a super high end computer that gives me that sort of um, I can tell for sure. So Should be leveling off here in a minute. So hopefully everybody's doing well. We'll get into story time here in a minute. It's been, I tell you, this week has been a real, man. And I may have to automatically. Nope, it's going to hold on its own. Okay, perfect. Now, normally we would speed up, right? I think maybe it'll start to slowly kind of increase in speed, but this may be a better, like more legit flight model, speed wise. I don't think we have a tailwind necessarily. We may have a bit of a crosswind. But I think let's have a look at our gauges here. Okay, we can increase that a little bit. There we go. Our RPMs are good. Our manifold pressure's in the green. Turn on the turbos. Not that I think they work still, but we'll throw them on anyway. Now we might start to see a speed increase. A little bit. It's getting there. Alright, so let's see where we're at on little nav map. So we took off. So we got a long ways to go. We'll get there when we get there. Coming in today on runway 37 or 23 center, 23 center, which is right there. That seems to be the runway choice, although looking at this right now, it's got a 7-knot crosswind and a 2-knot headwind. So it doesn't seem like no matter which way you come in, you got a crosswind of 7 knots. So we'll see how that impacts the plane as we get closer. When we come in for landing, it's probably going to be a bit tougher to. I'm going to have to hand fly it in. So it's probably going to be a bit tougher to contend with that, but we'll see. Today's flight brought to you by Parasocks Airline. Parasocks, just because you have a pair of socks does not mean they have to match. Give a shout out to Scruffy Tam, airline president, fellow pilot. When he's streaming, he'll show you his mismatched socks, his mixed up pair of socks. Mashed up pair of socks, whatever you want to call it. He'll gladly show you. All you have to do is ask. Shout out to Kev Sim Corner. Oops. Well, I tell you, I don't know how Kev's dealing with it with these convoys. I probably would have pulled what little bit of hair I have out, honestly. I don't know how he does it. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. And one more to Captain Arash. I think I have a. Hold on a second here. Hello, Mela. Hello, Mick. How are you? I think he's in the new sim as well, Captain Arash. About time, Amela. Yeah. Well, Amela's probably having his breakfast, and then he'll be having the post breakfast. I didn't eat anything of much notoriety the other day, Amela, but I did yesterday. I did make steak for breakfast. It was quite delicious. Needed some protein. So we just left Libya, a little airport in Libya. We are heading for Cairo, Egypt. We're going to pass over the pyramids. Hopefully, and I didn't go check, but I'm hoping they look way better than they did in 2020. But we'll see. So this is a new experience. Hopefully it looks good. Um, I make it well done. It's not like a very thick cut steak, so it doesn't take long to cook. But I kind of tend to char the outside just a smidge, and that seems to work pretty well. So, before I forget, is the sound okay? Is it too loud? Not loud enough? Can you hear me okay? I forgot to ask that because I was happy that Bex was the first one in here, so. But that's okay. Okay, thank you. I forgot to ask when you came in, Bex. Although I didn't have anything really like started up yet, so I didn't know if everything was good or if I could change the sound in any way. So this week has been, as I was saying before, it's been a real challenge for me. I'm not gonna lie. This since a week ago today, it's been a challenge. I can't say it any other way. Well, I could, but I don't want to. We have my stepmom's two dogs. That's the pictures of them. The dog, the larger dog of the two. That's Quincy. He's the Maltese Shih Tzu. Big whiny baby mama. He's a baby mama's dog. He's a big whiny, just oh, nice, Mick. I'm glad to hear it. He's he doesn't like the cat. He doesn't like little girl at all. So every time she's come in the house, he immediately gets, like, oh, what? Why is she here? Kind of thing. He has to, stir up trouble with her, and so she's not like she's a bit more comfortable now because coming in because I have to keep reminding her like just if we want to go sit in the living room for a while, whatever, I just like, let's go. And Wincy will follow. And I have to keep reminding him, I said, if you put one paw on that cat, you're going to get a beating. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you're going to get it. So, so he's a handful. Mr. Wiggles is the Shih Tzu. He's the smaller dog. He's like the little brown dog. He's pretty laid back, although he is a troublemaker. he looks all innocent, but don't let that look fool you. That dog loves to stir up trouble with his brother Quincy. He'll go and start fussing with Quincy, and then Quincy will finally get fed up with it. And then when Quincy starts to fight back, Mr. Wiggles will act like he's a victim. He'll I didn't do nothing wrong. So no, he's a little shit stirrer, for lack of a better term. Um, they both have gotten the habit of using the restroom inside the house. The battle of the pets. Yeah, it's been, oh my god, Amela. It's been terrible. So Mr. Wiggles understands the concept of going outside. Quincy, on the other hand, not so much. So it's always something, you walk around the house and all of a sudden, bang, there's a puddle of pee or there's a pile of poo. And, like, I feel bad for Apollo because this is his house. And he's happened to share it with two dogs who don't have any kind of indoor training. When you got to go, you go outside. You go do your business out there in the yard, in the backyard. And so, he's been a good boy. Apollo has. But, we're all three of them require attention. Plus, well, there's 4 animals that require attention because little girl requires attention too. We had the snow, we had the very cold weather. Thursday into Friday, little girl stayed in the garage pretty much all day, except to go outside to use the restroom. And I could not get her to stay in last night at all. She stayed out last night. And I'm just like, okay. And sure as I opened the front door this morning, she came running in. Moaning and groaning. Well, you made that choice. So it's just been a real... Man. If I had hair, I probably would have pulled it out by now. It's been insane. So I've just been trying to kind of do my own thing. I try not to, bother anybody with my stuff. So, and I'm thankful that Scruffy helped me out with this sim so that I'm like, okay, I feel a bit more comfortable. Now, things are not 100% perfect. They're probably never going to be, but I figured I want to get used to this sim and try to step away. I mean, we still have 2020. If this thing takes a turn for the worse, we can always fly in the old one. So it's like the backup quarterback now. So we're going to try in the future to my goal is to just to fly in this one exclusively. So I get used to how things are, how the menus work, all that kind of stuff. So, but I'm thankful because now I'm kind of doing the short flights. I did it last night. It was not easy. Your plane choices will impact your flight immensely, it seems. Like if you pick a small plane, like when Scruffy was making sure my stuff was all set up for the Alpha and Bravo, I did a quick flight out of Hayward, and there was just enough. Like when I took off, I could not maintain enough speed. It was just like, bang, you crash. Now, the interesting thing is, like say when we get to Cairo, I land, but I cannot slow down the plane enough to, in time. If I go off the runway and I hit anything like a building, trees, whatever, it considers it to be a crash. Bang, you're back in the air. Now, the funny thing is, and I noticed this yesterday when I was flying the YMF-5, a little biplane. When I crashed accidentally, like I landed, but I could not get the plane slowed down enough, and I went into some trees. It put me back in the air, but it had turned off the fuel. So like next thing you know, bang! I just went right over, and I'm like, why? I had the throttles all the way up, nothing was working, and I look at uh, the fuel flow, it was all cut off. That doesn't make any sense. So there's little quirks in this sim, but I'm hoping they're back from vacation. They've already put out some kind of a, you know, they're back. They're hard at work. The usual stuff that they have to say about, what's going on, you know. Because if they didn't, at some point, if they didn't say anything, people were going to go like, are you guys back from vacation? Did you extend it? Because you know that this thing's a hot mess and you just don't want to, so there's more stuff coming down the pipe. So it's not, they're working on things. Basically, let me just change the view because you're probably tired of looking at the back of the plane. We'll look at least a little bit inland. So I'm hoping that means things are going to continue to improve, and that when like I was talking to Scruffy about the career mode, that seems to be hit and miss. That's good, Amilla. Good. It's kind of like some of the stuff that people encountered in Flight Sim 2020, where there's people out there who have no issues whatsoever. And maybe that's just good luck on their part, who knows. But there's people who say, well, I have this one, and because it's not they can't replicate it, it falls on the user. It must be you. It must be your computer system, or it must be your Xbox. Like you can't change anything in your Xbox. You can't open it up and put more memory in, or whatever. So it's kind of like it seems like we're going back to that same sort of mentality of 2020. So we'll see. But it's very I don't know how to describe it. It seems a bit frustrating, but hopefully things will start to improve and all that. So but we're going to try to live here from now on. We're going to try. But if whenever they release a fix and it breaks more than it fixes, we still have something to fall back on. I forgot about this. So not only I call Quincy, he's a poopaholic. Yes, I did too, Amela. But in the midst of dealing with the dogs, and they've been here. It'll be a week tomorrow that they've been here in our house, where my dad and I live. I had a woman who's a legit alcoholic try to hit on me earlier this week, which I was just like, I can't. No. It was it was a very uncomfortable situation. And I'm just like, why, why me? Why does this stuff kind of crap happen to me? Not that I want it to happen to anybody, but I'm just like, what is it about me that this stuff happens? And it's just very frustrating. Ugh. So I was dealing with that. It's just been, yeah. I wish this week didn't exist in my life. No, not at the no. This person was hired to clean the house next door, and um, just I went over there to bring her some cleaning supply stuff, and next thing like, oh, I just want to talk to you, and da da da, and then next thing I know, she's like kissing my hand, putting her hand on my thigh, and I'm just like, no, no, thank you, no. I'm trying to be like nice, but not, you know, I'm not trying to give her any sort of, yep, I know, Amila, exactly. I'm not trying to like give a false impression or anything, lead her on, whatever you want to call it, but it was just like I have enough of my own stuff. Well, maybe Bex, I don't know. See, that's the hard part. See, if I'm too nice, then I get this. If it were the other way around, I'd probably be in trouble. And I'm thankfully she didn't like make a false claim or anything, because I was starting to get worried about that. Like, oh shit, she's gonna go tell somebody, and I'm just gonna be like, great, my life's ruined now. So, yeah, I don't have time. I've been around women like that before, and it never goes. It doesn't end well. It never goes well. It never ends well. It's just so, yeah. You know, I feel bad for people in situations like that, but I also know a lot of it is, you know, the choices you make. You have to know when you want help, and some people never want help for their addiction, you know, and there's nothing I can do about that, you know. So, you know, yeah, it was a hell of a week. But yeah, I tried not to put myself in that position. I really did want to, but I was like, okay, I thought she had questions about, what we wanted cleaned, if there was anything that we she missed. I was trying to be like practical about it, but she obviously wasn't. It was, yeah. So yeah, fun stuff, good times. Not really, but anyway. So here we are, trying to move past everything. Let's have a look at a little nav map. We still got quite a ways to go. Let's see what the oop, I didn't want to close it. There we go. It says, I'll see, it doesn't give a time. Interesting. So there's like no how much time you have to get to your waypoint. Huh. Okay, let's see if on the flight plan. Nope, that doesn't give you a time. Interesting. 'Cause it used to be up here, you would have a some kind of an idea how much time you had to get to your waypoint. Huh. Well, I guess we get there when we get there. So yeah, you're right though, Mill. If I had been the one to, uh, you know, like, touch her inappropriately, whatever, I probably would be not here right now. But yeah. So um no, Um, I don't. Well, this person ended up getting busted for a DUI later that evening. So the neighbors already dealt with that. She was trying to help her out because she's not working. She's struggling with her alcohol addiction. And so she she left here, uh, went, picked up some booze, got blitzed, was driving, and got pulled over. Um, that's well, we were we were informed through certain channels that that happened. I won't say more than that, but it's sad. I kind of feel bad, and there may have been signs that she was already drunk when she left here. I don't know. I'm not gonna, feel guilty about her decisions. That's her choice. Yep, it is. You know, you do stupid things, you take stupid chances, and if you get caught, you're gonna pay the penalties. And um, here, you know, depending on where you get picked up, you know, you can either go to a somewhat I hate to say this, but a somewhat nice jail that's more modern, and other places it is not going to be a very nice place, you know. So, um, but those I can't feel bad about her decision to do that. I'm not going to sit there and go like, well, gee, if I had like like if things went further than it already had, maybe no, I can't think that because it's not my responsibility, you know. Um, but anyway, so no, that's already been dealt with. She's you know um, this everybody was trying to help her out, kind of hopefully get her back on her feet, so to speak. And some people just they don't want to do that. They don't want to have that sort of um, they're so used to it, and they're not going to change. It doesn't matter what anybody does for them. So, um, you know, anyways, so yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. So, let's see what else. I think that's been pretty much it. And no, I don't know anybody personally who's been affected by the fires in LA. I don't have any family that I know of in the area. So I feel bad for the folks who lost a lot of stuff. Watching from nice. Well done, Mick. Glad to hear it. Now you can get back to shenanigans. Tell Pulse thank you from me. Um, yeah, so yeah, luckily I don't have know anybody, no family or anything that I know of that is in that area where the fires are. So, but um, let's see. Got the ads are playing. Didn't even see the countdown. Yeah, yep. You're absolutely right about that. All right, let's see what little nav map says. So we're over this little pond, lake, whatever. I was able to kind of figure out where those are the pyramids there, I do believe. So we're heading there first, and then it's just a. By the time we get there, we should be able to talk to Cairo, and get set up for landing. Um, so next Saturday, I'll figure out where we're gonna fly next. Um, we'll see what happens. I have to come up with something kind of neat. Try to continue it in the DC-3. Now I'm hoping that this flight counts under DC-3 flights for FS Hub. I don't know that it will for the exhibitionist. But I'll have to check. I have 31 to 50 flights, so let's see if this will count as 32. Wait a minute. Did I do one? I did do one. Hold on. I don't think it did. Maybe it did. My logbook. There it is. Let's just have a look. I did one back on the 3rd of January. No, that was in 2020. Okay, that's right. It was Scruffy was in 2024. He was doing one of the legs of the Silk Road achievement. So let's see if this counts as 32. So yeah, next Saturday I'll come up with for next Saturday the 18th. We'll see what I can come up with. Yeah, it'll be somewhere interesting. Trying to get more flags because I know I've been to Cairo. I know we went through there when I was in the Junkers in the doing the trip all the way to West Indies, the former or the Dutch East Indies. Yeah. Um, when I did that whole thing, I know we landed in Cairo. I'm positive of that. So, but I didn't have FS Hub, so I didn't get credit for landing in Egypt. So this worked out really well. We can go check out the the pyramids. Thankfully, the weather. Hopefully, the weather stays clear. Should be on live weather, so hopefully it's clear around Cairo, and we can see the pyramids when we get there. The only thing I found out on FS Hub, it does not recognize Flight Sim 2024 yet. When you look at when it says Sim, it just says unknown. So I don't know if there's a connection issue or what's going on. Maybe I need to put a trouble ticket in for that, but um, I don't know. Let's see what else. So mixed computers fixed. That's a good sign. Uh, Not sure if Milla's tummy's full. Probably is, but it probably isn't at the same time. um, Yeah. So, yeah, he did send me an update earlier this week, Mick, about he had to like get the motherboard replaced. I guess. Uh, that that didn't sound like fun. Like when he plugged it in, nothing was working. I had to get a swap out. So hopefully, hopefully it'll this one will last more than a couple minutes. If not, Bex is gonna have to pay out of it for her 2025 Christmas fund. I've not used it. I've seen some simmers use it, but I've I've heard some people like it and other people cannot. They're just like, no, this they gave up on it. Um, I don't know, like, um, I don't have the knowledge, I guess, for lack of a better term, to figure out how to talk only to VATSIM. Like I'm not sure how that would work. Like um. So no, I don't know that I would ever use it. To be honest, some people like it. I don't think I would. But to each their own. I think if you're a streamer, it's much harder to 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 do both. You know, but some people may have figured out a way that it's easy for them. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I've heard mixed sort of, and part of it I think is the people. It's I think the problem is on both sides. It's the people that are taking on the role of being a air traffic controller, and also the people who are using the product aren't very, like they're just clashing sometimes. I think so. Um, yeah. All right. Let's see what we have on little nav map. Almost halfway to the pyramids. Yeah, see, the controllers rage quit, the pilots rage quit, and I don't think anything ever nothing good comes out of it. You know. But I mean, it's an interesting concept. But now that there's like these AI ATC that you it's a maybe a bit better. Some people have gone down that route and they like it. I don't know. Like I guess it's all preferences and stuff like that. What works for them, what doesn't. All right. So I was showing this thing earlier. This is their tablet sort of system. And you can connect it to SimBrief, Navigraph charts. This is your flight planner, so this replaces the other map that we had in 2020. But the good thing is here you can kind of zoom in and you'll see. All right, so this is where the that's the point where the pyramids are. Now, this is if you didn't see this earlier, right? So we go here, we come across here, make this loop around, and it's very confusing because they have like that landing pattern, like the big squares in the sky that you fly through, and you're like, okay, I go this way, I should be here. It's very counterintuitive. So what I think we're going to do is when we leave here, when we leave the pyramids, we're going to go straight for 4, and we're just going to go enter in on the left downwind left to 2-3 center. So we're not going to try to do all this loop-de-loo crazy stuff. We're just we're gonna try to keep it simple. You don't have to follow. I don't think if you're just flying normally, you don't have to follow that per se. But it's a guideline if you're new, sort of thing, to give you some idea how to do a pattern entry. But we know how to do all that already, so we're gonna use it, but we're not gonna use it all completely. If that makes sense. But I'll show you guys how it looks from the air, and you'll see how confusing it is. Um, so, um, but it has. Let's see, what is this? That's the flight plan, flight details, your payload, fuel options, navigation log. So this tells you basically, oh, okay, here it shows the time left. So it says another 133 minutes to our arrival. Let's see, does the time go down? Or it's 133 minutes total flying time, so that's over 2 hours and 10 minutes roughly right there. So it doesn't count down the time. That's just the overall time. And then this flight. Oh, so it's got charts. Well, I think. Yeah, okay. Well, it has some kind of a chart. Oh, here we go. That's arrivals, I think. That's the ground. Let's see what this one shows. Okay. So we're coming in on 2-3 center. We're going to try to come off at Tango 2. We'll just go down. If not, we'll turn all the way at the end. But you can't use your mouse zoom thingy. Probably have to go all the way over to the general aviation area. So they have all that. They have notifications. Okay, how do I get back out of... Okay. There we go. Okay. So that's their tablet sort of thing. And that's usable in any aircraft. Which is pretty cool, I think. It looks like we got clouds over Cairo possibly. But I think once we get down to about we'll start descending, we'll get down to about 3,000 feet. I know we have to be at 2,000 for final on 2-3 center. So, but we'll go down to 3 as we get a little bit closer. We'll drop down to about 3,000 feet so we can hopefully see the pyramids. We may go as low as 2. Hopefully we don't hit the pyramids. That'll cause a major uproar. We don't want that. So we don't always have to use, I mean, we can pull up the charts. It's just that it looks different in, when we use Navigraph. I think there we go. It looks different though compared to the what we just saw, but it looks similar. Although, see, I use the dark mode on here on my Navigraph chart. So we're coming in on a very nice long runway, 13,000 feet long. So we'll see how that goes when we get there. We can leave that up just for the sake of having it available. So I'm going to step away for just a moment. I'm going to close this out so you don't have to look at that. Be right back. That's good, Mick. So that means you're back in the command center of the man cave. Does it feel good to be back there? Sitting in your chair in front of the PC? You're like, ooh, what kind of trouble can I start now? You know, I'm surprised hasn't popped in and said hello is Joseph, but he may be, I don't know, it's kind of early for the pub, isn't it? But who knows? I got happy tears. Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, I thought Joseph would be here, but who knows where that young man is up to. He's not coming around your place, has he, Bex, looking for Glenn? Wouldn't surprise me. Well, there he is. Look at that. Speak of Joseph, and he appears. You been out stalking Glenn again there, Joseph? Yep, I know. I'm here. Okay. Thought maybe you were up around Bex's way looking for Glenn. You must have just missed him. He must have taken the train out of town when he heard you were coming. You had to change your vape because it was leaking. Whew, okay. I didn't know you vape, Joseph. But okay. It was leaking a lot. So you had to buy a new vape, basically, is what you're saying. Okay. I never quite understood the appeal of that, but some people say it's better than cigarettes. Some people say not so much. I don't know. When clothes shopping is, oh, did you get anything new? What'd you get? I don't know what kind of clothes you need to buy during the winter. Less things are on sale for the summer. Got warm clothes to keep. Okay. You got warm clothes to keep you warm. Well, if they weren't keeping you warm, I wouldn't call them warm clothes. Well, that's good. Well, we're in the new sim, Joseph. We're in Flight Sim 2024. We are on our way to Cairo. We're going to go over the pyramids. I don't know if we're going to see them because the clouds are here. So you've missed a lot of desert, basically. You've missed story time. What else? I don't know. Uh, Amela's eaten. Well, that's normal. Well, it's different. It's a as I was explaining earlier, I flew last night a short flight in Spain, and I went over these mountains. And in a small plane, you definitely can tell the wind affects you much more than it did in the other one. So it's a bit more realistic, I guess. I'm surprised I didn't like crash going over the mountains. I probably should have stayed. I didn't think the mountains were that high. I was up like at 10,000 feet. Um, Barely keeping enough speed to stay in the air. I'm surprised that it just didn't go like flop over and just crash. But I made it. Um, it's just getting used to it. It's different. I mean, part of it feels the same, but it's different in many ways. Um, but I'm gonna fly in this one as much as I can going forward, just so that I get used to the way that the planes handle in the new sim. They kind of feel different. Um, so it's okay. I like well. I think this one the graphics look better. Like the ground, this area looks more realistic compared to probably if I looked at it in the old sim. But you know, other than that, I mean, what are you really going to notice at 8,000 feet? You know, but I'm hoping they keep improve. Well, they don't have. Well, they have a choice. If they don't keep improving it, then you know all hell's going to break loose, essentially. Um, but I so far I like it. It's just getting used to how things are and understanding that you don't have the same amount of information. Like up here, it would say, like how much time you have to your next waypoint, and it doesn't have that. So it's very kind of like it doesn't have it on the flight plan. It says we have like 172 nautical miles left, I think. Let's see if it goes down. Okay, it's going down on its own. So we have 171 nautical miles left. Um, so it's it's just not having all the same information that we normally had. That's the only thing. So, but that's okay. All right, so we're definitely more than halfway there. I think we're going to stay here a little bit longer. I'm going to say probably right about this point. We're not going to wait top of descent here. We're gonna start dropping altitude a little bit later, or well, sooner than where the top of the descent marker is. So we're gonna go way out here. We're gonna start descending to about 2,000 feet. Well, maybe we'll go to 3 first, and then if we're still in the clouds or below the or above the clouds, then we'll go down to 2. I know this is pretty flat here, so I'm not too worried about running into a mountain or anything. So, but they have this. Oh, pop inside here. They have this cool tablet that kind of shows you where you are. You can zoom farther out, like you can zoom all way out, but um, you can see kind of like um, it doesn't keep resetting to your plane. So that's where the pyramids are. Then we're going to go for 2-3 center over here in Cairo. We're not going to fly this crazy looking plan. We're going to go right for this nav point here. So when we leave here, I'm gonna probably have to hand fly it in to here, and then we'll put it on the ground. But there's no, I don't think there's a setting. Oh, here we go. Ah, there we go. Okay. So that's the terrain right now. So you could use that. You know, the different colors, or, you know, that's obviously water up here. This is higher area. These are mountains and all that. The green is lower. So it's kind of like the little map that we had. Let's see. Not mission. Nope. Weather. Oh, look at this. You can have well, it doesn't look like you could have the weather radar on or the MEDAR. Okay, navigation, airports, VOR, NDBs, obstacles. Huh. All right. Well, at least we have that. And then I can pull up, it'll show where the nearest airport is within a certain range. We don't have any kind of airport nearby. But if there's something in there, it should say kind of what's there. But I don't think there's a nearest airport in that region. So, that's the first time I really kind of messed with this. And then I can see, it shows you, but it doesn't have like the let's see if this counts down. It says 144 minutes total. Yeah, this doesn't. So nothing counts down. Yeah, that's pretty handy. So it's just another tool they put in. I think it gives you more information. It's just that I got so used to having a system that kind of, gave me more information, but that's okay. So when are you getting back to the Black Ops 6 there, Bex? Yeah, I know that feeling. Although I think I'm a little too warm. Had to go today. Ah, nice. I still want to see. Is there a way you could 1v1 Joseph? in Black Ops and the multiplayer. I think that would be fantastic. And then the winner of that has to face Pulse 1v1. Well, what are you waiting on, Joseph? There is a yeah. I think we should have a tournament. It should be Bex versus Joseph, and the winner of that has to play Pulse. I have a sneaking suspicion that Pulse would win no matter who he's up against, but no, he's got to start with you first, Bex. You got to work your way to Pulse. But we gotta make it interesting. You know, somebody has to win the ability to go against Pulse. All right, I think what I'm going to do is there is an ILS approach for 2-3 center. Now we're not gonna we're not gonna put in the actual approach. We're just gonna dial in 109.5. All right. So that should be in the active. Yep. All right. Well, it looks like it's clearing up just a bit. Well, at least we have a clear area. All right, let's see. Well, there was an airport nearby, although it may not be a... It may be an air base, I don't know. Well, we have a 12 knot, almost like a tailwind. Not directly from behind us, but... Uh-oh. Yes, Bex, when are you going to get back on the farm with Joseph? Inquiring minds want to know. He's itching to be put back to work, is what he's saying, I think. You started on your own a little bit. Well, that's a good start, Joseph. There's lots to do in the new farm, it looks like. Do it tomorrow in the morning if you like, Joseph. Or I could just come and help you on yours. Uh oh. Do you really want Joseph bossing you around, Bex? You know he is. Only Glenn can boss you around. I think here. Let me. Here's a thing that I think applies to Bex. On Saturday morning, I like to wake up slow and sit on the couch having coffee for 37 hours. Is that true, Bex? Does that sound about right? Get up on Saturday, sit on the couch, drink coffee for 37 hours. That sounds like something Bex would do. All right, we're almost at our spot there where we're going to start descending. Oh. Well, thank you all for coming in and hanging out. Hopefully you're enjoying things so far. If not, you know who to talk to. Oh, see, I always click the wrong button. You know who to talk to about it. He's in the chat. You just send him a little message. At the moment, with stuff around it at the moment, you might be. Now, Joseph, let me ask you something there, young man. All the times that you were on Joe's farm with Pete and them, didn't you learn anything about putting the stuff away? Come on now. You're always supposed to wash the equipment, park it nice and neat. As best as you can. I think that's he needs. He needs Pete to come in there and sort them out. That's what you need, Joseph. You need Pete and Glenn to come in there and sort you out. You don't need Bex. You're just picking Bex because she's going to talk all nice to you. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Because you know Pete and Glenn come in there, you're gonna get an earful. I think that's what you should. You should send Glenn in your place, Bex. He'll get them sorted. Oh, somebody resubbed. I'm at 25% of the way to completing my sub goal. Oh, who resubbed? Oh, what am I looking? It was, doesn't say, but I have 3 subscribers. Somebody resubbed. Well, thank you for the resub, whoever it might be. Yeah, I think that's what you should do. You should talk to Glenn, there, Bex, and say, you're gonna go in and sort Joseph out. He needs a bit of a what for. Oh yeah, Joseph. That's okay. That's how you learn. I can hear Glenn now. I say, Joseph. I say. Bex will just be sitting there listening, laughing. All right, let's see where we are now. Still a little bit to go. Look at this side of the plane for a little bit. So what do you guys think? Does it look better in your opinion? About the same? You can't really tell? Not sure? Don't care? All the above? None of the above? Coffee? Donuts? You think it looks a lot better? Okay, fair enough, Joseph. I'll take that. Let's see what Sir Stetson OBE says. If he's still watching, I think he is. Although it might be close to time for tea. He might got pulled out of the man cave. Against his will. Yeah, I think it does too, but I'm not, like, I'm not an expert on all that kind of stuff, so I can't really say for sure. I mean, I remember flying into Cairo. We've done a flying tour around the pyramids and all that, but it's been so long I can't say that it. I remember if it was kind of like blah or if it was okay. So this is definitely going to be a test of the to see how. All right, we're getting there. Um, okay. So yeah, we'll start descending here shortly. Because I see this road. It looks like this road is on the map. I think that's a road. Yeah. Well, it's really cloudy here. I wasn't expecting that. I was hoping it was going to be kind of a clear day, but hmm, those clouds are pretty low. Oh, I should probably turn on. That. Alright, we're going to go ahead and switch back to the mains. Use up that fuel. Rest of the way in. Alright, I think we're about at our spot. Yep, we're there. Alright, let's go ahead and get some. Alright, we're going for 3,000. See how it looks once we get down there. If necessary, we'll go to 2. Kind of a nice lazy descent here. That is Kev. Hey, Kev, how are you? Nice to see you here. Happy Saturday. We're in the new sim. On our way to pyramids here in Egypt. Have a look, see how they look. Either they're going to be magnificent or not so much. Good to see you. Shout out to Kev. I think it's more true for the ATS antics. Thank you for the biddies as well. Appreciate that. I'd be here early, but had to go into... you got snow up there, didn't you? You had to go in and deal with that, I would imagine. That's okay. Come on in whenever you can. No worries. Dusting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we kind of had that here. The other day. I think Thursday into Friday. We only had a couple inches. It's mostly gone now, but see, we don't have... They have to keep the freeways open here in Alabama. So the state has snow removal equipment and stuff to put down, salt and all that on the freeways to melt the ice and whatnot. But the actual county I live in, none of the counties in Alabama have snow removal equipment. And if you get caught driving on the road, well, not caught, if you get an accident on roads that are unsafe, yeah, your insurance will not pay for the damages. Whether you hit another car or you just mess up your own vehicle, doesn't matter. Your insurance won't cover it. So I learned something new the other day that I didn't know about here in Alabama. But it's mostly gone. We've had rain and all that. We're down at a high enough altitude for it to stick. So, but anyways. But good to see you here. Yeah, you gotta keep the sidewalks clear and all that kind of stuff. Parking lots. Try to avoid those lawsuits if things go wrong. All right. Heading for 3,000. So one of the things, I'll wait till the ad break ends and then I'll kind of show some stuff off. No, so if you are like well, all the people who work at the hospital stayed at the hospital. So they have shifts. They have a place for them to sleep. So they don't have to drive. But if you want to go to the store, for instance, to get some stuff, and you go off the road, or if you hit another vehicle, whatever, your insurance won't cover that. Because they are like, no, you should have known better. So, yeah, no, they won't take care of the damages. Or if you just wreck your own vehicle, nope. The insurance will be like, that's going to be out of your pocket. So, yeah, I didn't know that. But that's just how Alabama is. Yeah, it is. I didn't know that. until I was talking to my dad, and he's like, no, if you drive on the road and you hit a patch of ice and you go off, you damage your own vehicle, you damage other property or whatever, your insurance company will not cover it. So, yep. But if you are firefighter, EMS, uh, if you work for the power company, that's different. But if you are just a regular Joe Schmo, nope. So, yeah, quite different than when I lived in New York. So, so I'll show you a couple things, Kev, while you're here. So this is the map that you have that replaces the V map. You know, like we had that little map. Yeah. Any damages, if you cause it, it's going to be out of your own pocket. But if you are like a county employee, state employee, or whatever, that's different. But if you're just a regular Joe Schmo who decided to go to Walmart, no. So this replaces the map. It shows the kind of like what we had before in 2020, but the only difference is here. This is the entry into your airport. This is what they want you. Exactly. That's a good question. Every state's different, got their different rules, I guess. Anyway, so this is what they expect you to do. You go here, go all the way here, make this loop-de-loo, and then go on to your downwind leg. But that's how. But we're not going to use that exactly. We're going to go right here for this and go right into the downwind leg. But this has your SimBrief integration, Navigraph charts, but it also has its own charts right here. So if I want to look at, so this is our destination. We're coming in on 23 Center, but this is the airport layout here. So it has charts, but they're not using Navigraph charts. They're using Jepson charts or something else. Your show inside your plan. No, I've been outside for a little bit. Here, I'll go back outside. No, I've been outside for a while. I was inside because I'm descending to 3,000 feet, and we're almost there. So we're gonna level off here in a minute. But this is their tablet, and this is for all the planes. I don't know if you saw this yet or not. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. But it gives you some kind of indication of the layout of the airport. It might have taken a. Oh, I know why. Hold on. There we go. I forgot it's off to the side. Sorry about that. Thank you. So now it should be showing up. I forget I'm on the wide screen, so I usually have that stuff. That's okay. I know what you meant. The charts. So there we go. So this is the chart. You have a chart. So you click on this and it gives you the list. So like your departure, and then your arrival. It has your arrival portion, all that. But then you have your overall chart for the airport. It doesn't have you can't use your wheel on your mouse to scroll in and zoom in and out. You have to use so if you're trying to use this without a plane on autopilot, you're kind of screwed. So that's the airport layout. We're coming in on this runway, but our path is going to take us around and then into 2-3 Center. So they have that. but this is the little map, kind of like the one that we have, but it has more information. Now it says you can add in like the weather, like there's a weather radar, but I can't click it. I don't think it's working just yet. But it'll show the winds. It's supposed to show all that, but maybe this isn't like fully integrated yet. So, but you can change. You could have like a satellite image. I put on the terrain highlight, kind of like what we had in the one in 2020, so that I can, you know, look to see if I'm about to fly into the side of a mountain or not. It seems pretty handy. And this is how you Scruffy kind of showed me this. This is how you add the fuel. You go in here and put your percentage in, load it in the aircraft. It's not like, well, you don't use fuel on yours, but if you use fuel, this is how you load it and unload it. I guess. So it shows you the aircraft. It has a checklist for the whole thing. For startup, taxi, in-flight, and then post-flight. So it has all that. It has a logbook of how many times you have flown the aircraft. Oh, I started at 8 this morning, right about 8. So it'll say for the week how long you've flown it, for the month, and then the year. Settings. But one thing I did notice, so I did the short yesterday in the new sim. I was able to download the Wacko, and I flew the short. It is much different. Like it's harder to fly, hand fly in the new sim, because if you're in an area like the mountains, you get that wind and all that, you're going to get bounced all over the place. So it's very sort of peculiar and all that. What else was there? They have this thing. This is like a path. So as you get closer, like it'll, up draft, down draft. If you crash. So like say, when we fly into some of those airports, a dirt strip, and there's like trees around. In the new sim, if you go off the runway and crash, it automatically puts you back in the air. But you won't go like, you don't start the whole flight over. It's just they'll put you like in a pattern kind of thing. The only problem with that is what I noticed with the Wacko yesterday. I don't know if it's true for all the planes, but if you crash and they put you back up in the air, it automatically turns off your fuel. So I was up in the air, and next thing I know, I had it just dropped out of the sky, because I couldn't, even though I had the power all the way up, it was like, nah, not having it. So, it's a bit more, maybe it's a bit more realistic compared to how it was in 2020, like the weather and all that with the winds and everything. But yeah, it's definitely, it'll keep you on your toes. Like, I'm surprised I made that whole flight, because I thought for sure I was up at 10,000 feet in that Wacko, and I was surprised I made it, to be honest. The Wacko flying the Wacko with the Wacko friends. Yeah. So, but it seems better, but it's hard to really, like, I think it's going to get vastly improved, and it's got its own peculiarities right now, and maybe that's just bugs, but it's hard to say for sure. You know, the only thing I don't like, I don't think you can minimize, like make this smaller, the tablet. Oh, I guess if you pop it out, you could do that. There. But see, I think it. See, but now it's only showing that. It's not showing my stream. That's interesting. Okay. I hope that didn't take away the stream. Okay, there it is. So yeah, if you do that, it'll yeah. So um, so you have that to deal with, but the tablet works for all the planes. It doesn't matter which one. Not all the planes when you walk around, like the DC-3, when you spawn in, it has like that walk around, and you're supposed to like collect up the pitot heat covers and all that kind of stuff. This doesn't have anything like that per se. It's so you can walk around, just kind of check out the plane. I've not flown it yet, Amilla, so I couldn't say. I have no idea. Yeah, there's different things to click on within the tablet that you can use. So like your settings, you can set how you want to, like small, medium, or large tablet size, vertical or horizontal. The brightness, I think, is yeah. I have it automatic. Um, you could change your default app, so I put it on the map sort of thing, the flight planner as they call it. But see, it doesn't click automatically on your, like if I go here and go back. Okay, so it does lock in on the plane. You just have to make sure you have that engaged. So there's different stuff. Your flight plan, your flight details, your payload options, your fuel, the your whole flight plan basically. Okay. Um all right, looks like we're boy, this is really overcast here. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the whole picture in on OBS. I have to tinker with that one of these days. All right, let's see if we have. I didn't realize I hadn't been talking to Cairo Center. I never contacted Cairo Center. I'm like, boy, I haven't heard like anybody. Traffic. Why am I not talking to the I know Cairo has a tower. Why am I not talking to the tower? That seems odd. Huh. Okay. So the only thing it doesn't have a way you have a stopwatch, right? To time your distance and all that. But on this version of the of your thing, it doesn't have like at the top the distance and all that and the time left to get to that nav point. It doesn't have any of that. So I don't know if that's supposed to be more realistic versus the one in 2020. I couldn't say. All right, so we're almost at the but yeah, it has a lot more information than the other one. You can look for other airports. So like within that circle, there's an airport there. It just doesn't pop up with the name of it though. You're welcome, Mick. I'm glad to help you out. It's all good. That's the only thing. It doesn't give you the name. Like I know there's an airport there, but you would think it would have like all the like the airport information there. That's missing as well. But okay, let me. So we're almost at the pyramids. Um, let me check. That's a good question. I don't think I've tried. Let's see here. That it does. Well, that's just a waypoint. So it's not like there's a clickable spot where it would bring up the name. It seems like, although I would think. See, it shows airports, but it doesn't show like the name of the airport. So like I have airport selected, but it doesn't. Unless that's like one that it won't give you the name for security reasons, possibly, or maybe it's a closed airport. I don't know. Oh, there they are. Okay, let's go outside here. Look at that. There they are. Ooh wee. We made it. Check that out. That's very like it's not like in the old one. China knows everything already. Yeah. Um, it's not like in the old one where it seemed like it took forever for him to kind of like populate in. Like, look at this. That's like very clear, sort of. Look at that. That's amazing. Yeah, that looks fantastic. Like that's very clearly defined. Like there's no mistaking. Like, well, I think those are the no, those are definitely the pyramids. Check that out. That's fantastic. All right, so we're going to turn here in a minute, head towards the airport. Now it's interesting though that it had me talk to traffic. It didn't have me contact the tower for landing. Well, I should try to get a picture of that. I know there's a helipad there, so that's legit. Look at that. That is very well defined. That's fantastic. Good job. Good stuff. Look at that. Oop. Okay, so now this is the tricky part. Coming for China. Come on now. Don't start acting like pops. Okay, so here comes the difficult part. We got to get that open. Throttle back a little bit. We're going to start getting some flaps down. Now you'll notice I was talking about that pattern entry sort of thing there. There's downtown Cairo, it looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep going straight, but we're not going to, as we get closer, now I can turn these off as well. Like I don't have to follow that. You can do this with your eyes shut. I don't know about this part. So this is the tricky part here coming up. Get a little more flap down here so we start slowing down a bit more. So let's look at that, get that tablet open again, right? So now we're on this part of the trip. What we're looking for is this part right here. We're gonna shoot for that part. I know it's a little bit to the right there. That pattern entry. So we're going to wait till we get a little bit closer. Yeah, to the right. So we're going to wait till we get a little bit closer, and then we'll kind of, once I see that, I'm going to jam it toward, I'm going to hand fly it the rest of the way in. I'm going to show you how weird this whole pattern entry thing looks. Like, I think I get what their concept is, but okay, it looks like it's right over here. Right, but remember, there's like this weird sort of loop-de-loop part right here. So it's kind of like it's almost a way you have to guess if you're going to use this. I tried it last night and it was very confusing. So, but I wanted to show this so that people kind of see what's what in this thing, so you can kind of decide like, okay, I don't want to use that or whatever. Okay, let's go down to 2000. Okay. But I mean, look at the detail though of the area. Like, it's much better defined, I have to say. I used to use it in 2020. Yeah, I did too every once in a while, especially in areas that I didn't know very well. But I just wanted to show you how weird this thing is kind of set up. Yeah, it really is. Like, it's if I remember, like when we've gone here before and we did the flight around the pier, this looks way way better than what I remember it. But I mean, it's been had to be in the frames. Um, well, you fired them like a bunch of times, Kev. Well, it helps. Like, I get the concept of what they're trying to have you do, but this seems like the way they have it laid out, according to the, um, oops, not that. According to this, it just doesn't make much sense to me. Like, why do like, why don't I just go in the downwind left? Like I know kind of where that might be. So, all right, let's go ahead and fire the autopilot. We're at 2,000 feet. So I want to fly this the rest of the way. That's the military air base that's right in front of. You could see it there in front of us. That's the one in front of Cairo International. So that's not our destination. I know 2,000 feet roughly is our expected um, altitude for. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let's get the booster pumps on. I know you need those for landing. So, of course, the ads start. Okay, well, that's all right. We're not lined up yet. I can kind of circle around till the ads are done, then we'll land it. But yeah, this looks way way better. I'm so glad this has gone better than expected. There's our runway right there. So it looks like our land, like this is where we're supposed to come in at for once we've kind of done that circle around thing. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure, Kev. I think you can, if you know kind of what to do, you can fly straight in. You don't have to use this. Like I can turn it off and just fly this in this way. But I wanted to show it like how confusing does that thing look initially, like the whole kind of going around in a circle. And it seems like for a downwind left pattern, it seems like we're very close to this runway here. That's right to our left side here. Now I think of course, if you have like an actual IFR flight plan, it'll take you. It won't show you this sort of craziness. It'll give you like the pattern entry for the actual IFR. But I don't. It I'm going to go ahead and put the landing gear down now. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this. Because it's kind of... Yeah, but it's very peculiar how it wants you to... If you're just coming in like on a VFR plan, it comes up with this very weird sort of way of bringing you in. But you don't... it's like you could use it as a guideline if you're new, but you don't have to necessarily use it. So like I know where the runway is, right? I can fly. I should be probably farther to the right than I really am for a pattern entry. It just feels like we're too close to this runway here 23 left slash whatever it is. So we're gonna swing it around ourselves here in just a second. So hopefully we'll see how we do once we get on the ground. So yeah, I'm going to fly out just a little bit. So if you kind of know what to do, you don't have to use that, but it's very, like, it doesn't make a lot of sense for that type of a turn in this plane. It just seems kind of like counterintuitive, like I feel like I would be flying the plane in a worse way than I would normally. Like if I would just be turning way hard left to the left or the right or whatever. Like it just wouldn't feel natural. All right, let's talk to I'm going to put us on final. All right, let's go. Let's churn in. All right, here we go, folks. Everybody buckle up. Joseph, put your life vest on even though we're in the desert. You never know, you might need it. Gears down. Flaps are... Do I need luck, Joseph, do you think? Do I need it? I appreciate it. We'll be all right. We'll make it. Boy, this looks way like I'm amazed. I know when Ocho when he was there and he was out, when he was doing some of his bush flying, he was like moved to tears. It was that impressive for him. So, yeah, this looks pretty darn good, I have to admit. All right, there we go. All right, we got this. Boy, that just looks way better defined. Negative 100. I'm hoping for better than that. We'll see. I know there's a 7-knot crosswind coming from the right. So I think I gotta dip the... Well, let's just drop some altitude here. Negative 99. Thanks, Kev. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of coming in a little bit high. But it's a long runway, so we have to float it. We can. Yeah, we seem like a bit high here coming in, but I meant to ask you, how did the rest of your trucking go last night? It seemed like it was getting chaotic again. People were just causing all kinds of nonsense. All right, there's the windsock. I don't know how you put up with it, Kev, honestly. I would just be like, you know what? I can't have you guys in my convoy. This is too much of a hot mess. See, it tends to want to float. Mm. Oh, that was the wing. Well, I didn't hear any clapping. I think that was hard. But I scraped the wing, it sounded like. That's why I do the convoy on Friday. Yeah, like. Okay. Well, let's see what we got. Survey says 305. What? See, I told you it is. Hey, Paradox, it is not easy. Like I thought maybe it would be better, but no, it's this sim is it's tough. I was clapping. Thank you, Mick. 305. Well, that's okay. My stuff, my landing stuff is gonna be ruined now. You were claiming as well. What were you claiming, Joseph? Okay, let's see here. It says we're going to parking, but I don't know. Well, let's see. Where's the let's see. We're here somewhere. Actually, you know what? Let's use this. Let's see if we can figure out where we are on the ground. Okay, we're at we're there. No entry, no entry. Oh, that's going this way. So, okay. So I think if we go straight ahead, let's look at the chart. Come on, chart. So it looks like we're right around there somewhere. Okay, so if we go straight, yeah, it looks like if we go straight, that's general aviation. Sorry, my bad. That's okay, Joseph. I know what you meant. All right, we'll go for general aviation parking somewhere over here. But this looks fantastic. Like this looks like. I mean, I've never been to. Oh, I gotta hold on. Gotta unlock the tail wheel. There we go. Okay, now we can go. I know what you meant, Joseph. That's all right. Good to see you, Paradox. How are you? What's new in the world for you? No one's looking, just go. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna. I can't be upset about that. I'm happy we made it. It's just getting used to the new, like, I want to say the new flight dynamics. Like landing is a bit more of a challenge than it was before. Um, you really have to. I want to say it's almost like you got to really think about how you're lining up and all that. Your altitude is going to make a big difference. Um, there's just a lot of factors there. Um, but yeah, I'm happy with this. This is pretty fantastic. I just wish we had more liveries, and I know they're working on bringing the opening up the marketplace here pretty soon. I think that's one of the things they're going to be working on here since they've been back from vacation. But oh, let me see if I got credit for that for on Parasocks. Did I get a 32? Yep, it counted. Excellent. But yeah, overall, it's going to take some getting used to. My landing rates are going to go back up to garbage, but that's okay. Wow, that just spawned in all of a sudden. Um, but yeah, overall, I feel pretty good with this. But I'm glad everybody was able to come in and hang out. Hopefully, you've enjoyed it. If not, you know who to talk to. Air New Zealand. Oh, interesting. So we don't have a parking assignment per se. I'm just gonna. I think I can. I'm gonna go right in here to November 3. Just release this at the worst time when it was. Yeah, I would agree, but it's starting to get there. Like I'm thankful that Scruffy was able to kind of like go over things with me just to make sure that like I had things set, and they were, because I downloaded an update for the Alpha and Bravo for 2024, and so it kind of created its own profile. So, and then my rudders were also in there. So I think it just took some time for stuff to kind of start kind of coming together. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's I know it's not gonna be perfect. I'm trying to steer clear of the stuff, like the what do you call it, the career mode and all that. Okay, the brakes are on. All right, let's shut everything off. And let's see what else we gotta do. Let's get the lights off. And I'm gonna shut off the fuel. The only thing I don't like is it doesn't have, like, when you hovered over stuff. Yeah, it was. I wish I'd waited, but it is it is what it is. Um, Lessons learned, like you said. um, let's close these, and we can turn all that off. Turn the pitot heat off. All right, now let's see what happens when I turn off all the other stuff. Okay, so it's not like in 2020 where when you click off your battery and all that, like everything powers down, that it ends the flight. That's the only thing. It doesn't give you. I don't know if there's an option that you have to choose for that. I would think that there is. I'm not 100% sure, but that's everything shut down. So if I go here and say, now look, you see that there's that pattern entry kind of weirdness, right? It shows like this very strange, like way, but it shows you all the, the everything. So the takeoff, the distance, next waypoint. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, in flight. But yeah, that was pretty darn good. I have to admit, it wasn't perfect, but I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to check: did I get Egypt the flag? I did. Yay! This is my landing rate. It's gonna go back through the roof. But yeah, thank you, Milla. Show should. I know what you meant, Kev. It's all right. Thank you, Milla. I enjoyed that too. So yeah, boy, those pyramids looked amazing, and I'm gonna put that. I'll post those. Let me cut that down real quick. yeah, it was. I'm pretty happy with it. It wasn't perfect, but that's okay. Um, Anyway, let me wrap things up so I can get out of here because it's getting close to lunchtime already. You're welcome, Joseph. Make sure you say thank you to Mela for thanking me. Knowledge of today's show. Well, I just wanted to kind of show you some stuff, Kev, so that you're kind of aware of what to expect once you finally make the jump into the new sim. So that way you're not like, what the heck is this? What is? So that's all right. Anyway, we're gonna leave it here. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll be back next Saturday. We'll be in the new sim. We're gonna try to stick with the DC3, but I don't know where yet. I'll come up with something fun. Hopefully some neat scenery as well. Um, so come on in and watch if you want. If not, that's quite okay. I know everybody's got things to do during the weekends, especially. So do enjoy the rest of your Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, early Sunday for some folks around the world. I have been and always shall be your lead singer, driver of the airplane, Uncle B, host, pilot, all that good stuff. Until next Saturday, 8 Central. Unless I take care, Mick. I'll talk to you again soon. Unless something else happens this week that takes me out of action, I'll keep you apprised. But I'll come up with something fun for our next flight. So, Towers, the number you left the dent in the runway. Yes, I scraped it. I didn't dent it. I scraped it. I heard the scrape. I think my wing hit the runway. If there was a replay, if I could replay the outside, I think there would have been sparks and my plane would have been on fire, but that's okay. All right, I'll see you next time. Until next Saturday, peace. Live long and prosper.